How to improve your sales as an online coach. A lot of people get sales wrong. They think if they just have the perfect script, they're going to be making more sales off of the discovery calls that they're already having. Now, a good script is not a bad thing, but I wanted to share with you 3 things that you can do today with the people you're already getting on discovery calls so that you have a better chance of actually getting them to purchase your program. So the first thing is understanding that people, the more warmed up they are, the more likely they are to buy from you. If you've noticed, there's a lot of leads that if we get them onto a call quite quick from when they followed you and the conversation was quite quick, they feel cold. And when they feel cold, it's usually because they haven't been in your ecosystem long enough to actually get nurtured. There's often a saying that if marketing is done right, it makes sales very easy, and if marketing is done wrong, it makes sales very hard. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that people are properly warmed up before we actually sell to them. So a couple things you want to look for before the sale is, number one, you want to ensure that they are an ideal client from a demographic standpoint. Make sure that you're not booking sales calls with people who are not an ideal fit. Make sure that they check off the boxes as far as the goals that they're going after. Make sure that what they're struggling with is actually something you help people with. And make sure that you've also been providing value through freebies, or if they've been checking out your content, or they've been coming to your workshops. The more they digest your content before sales calls, the more likely they are to buy from you. Because it's kind of like sales pages. When you're creating a sales page, like a landing page, usually the longer a sales page, the more someone reads, the more likely they are to take action. It's because when people actually digest more of your content, they feel like they know you, like you, and trust you better, and they actually feel like they're going to make an educated decision. Because a lot of people are scared to make an uneducated decision that's just made like this rash decision that's actually not thought through. So make sure that people are digesting a lot of your content. Now, one of the things that we do to ensure that this happens is that when people book a sales call with you, before you actually have the call, let's say there's 2 days in between, make sure you're sending them more information, whether it's PDFs, whether it's value pieces, freebies, whether it's past workshops. I often like to send people even past interviews I've done with clients, like testimonials, and just getting them to digest more information, because we've seen it clearly that if you can get people to digest an extra couple hours of information of your content before jumping on a sales call, the likelihood of them buying goes up, because also they're coming to the sales call with a lot of the answers to their questions already. They know who you work with, how you work with people. They'll maybe even understand our loop method. They'll understand how your program works or how your clients are being coached. They'll have more understanding so that you can actually move through that quicker to get to the decision point in a sales call. So the first tip to just actually having better sales close ratio is to actually nurture them before they're even on the call, because it gets them to be warmed up, and oftentimes also you're increasing the perceived likelihood of them buying because they're perceiving your value as higher. So that's the first thing I want you to work on while you're getting people onto a sales call. The second thing is actually how you start the sales call. A lot of people are fairly used to being sold to in our day and age. And so they probably, for most of your clients, maybe they've bought a program before, maybe they've hired a doctor or whatever it is. They've probably tried things before. So when you start a call, you want to make sure that you're able to what we call disarm them, because a lot of people are coming onto calls already a little bit guarded, and so you really want to break through that ice. I often will utilize jokes, I'll utilize humor, I'll utilize just smiling and really disarming them to get them into a state where they're feeling at ease, because people make better decisions for themselves when they're at ease versus when they're guarded, because when they're guarded, it feels like they're always pushing back against things. So when you're starting a call with someone, be super personable. And a lot of people are like, well, I'm not a very energetic or extroverted person. That's okay. Just be your most energetic self. Be your authentic self, but really come onto those calls with just an energy of, I want to serve you, let's have a good time, I really want to dive deep, and be personable. Because people, if they feel connected to you and how you're handling the call, they're going to be more likely to actually purchase from you. I actually had this just the other day where someone was thinking about joining our program. They jumped on a call with one of our team members, and then they actually jumped on a call with another business coach as well. So they had a call with our company and a call with someone else's company. And we've trained our staff step to be really overboard with really connecting with people. And after they had both of those calls, this lead, they came back to us saying like, oh my gosh, I want to work with you guys. I had a bad experience with the other team because they were just trying to sell me, but you guys connected with me, you were relatable, and you built that belief in me. So make sure that you're actually showing up in a way where people want to work with you. Don't show up in a way of just trying to hard sell, because hard selling without that relationship is just not going to work. So that's the second thing that I would do to increase your close rate. The last and final thing is to make sure that you're building two things throughout the discovery portion of a sales call. Number one, belief, and number two, urgency. People buy when they have a high belief that this is going to work for them and when they feel the urgency that they should do this now. So here's how to do both of those things. Number one, how do you increase belief? Well, you want to, number one, make sure that they've watched some testimonials, right? It'll be a lot easier if they already know this program works for other people just like me. So that's number one. Number two, when you're in the discovery part of a sales call and you're talking about their goals and where they want to go, you want to make sure that they're visualizing it and you're showing them clearly exactly how they can make that happen. Because the more clarity that they have of what to do to get the goal, they're going to actually have more belief that they can actually achieve it. So break it down into really small bites so that they can see, if I do 1, 2, 3, I'm going to get to where I want to go. Make it simple and not confusing at all for them to get there. So you want to build that belief in themselves and the belief in your program. And so that's the first thing that you want to do. The second thing is actually create urgency, because a lot of people, even if they have belief that this works out for them, they may not feel urgent to buy something. But for a lot of you, if you would actually ask questions around, hey, how long has this been an issue for you? Or is this something that you want to keep pushing down the road and you're just like shopping? Or do you really want to figure this out so that you never have to deal with X, Y, and Z again? Ask these questions that get them into the frame of mind of realizing that life is short, they've been working on this, they're sick and tired of being where they're at, and they really do want to make a change and make a decision. Because that's going to allow you to have this person who believes that this program is right for them. They feel urgent that they want to make this happen because of all of these different things. And you've also nurtured them well and you've framed the call the right way. If you do these three things properly, your sales calls will get to be at a better close ratio. You'll actually probably even have more fun on the calls. And if you nurture people properly before the calls, it'll make it easier for you to sell. So try these three things out. Comment down below once you tried them out, and I know for a fact it's going to help you with your sales.